Hi everyone. The NEET PG 2025 two-shift examination case by Dr. Aditi and others against the National Board of Examination, NMC and Union of India basically was taken up today in the Supreme Court, that is 30th May, and the Supreme Court has come up with an order very clearly saying that there has to be a single shift examination, very strongly admonishing the NB authorities on what they were doing for 1 year without planning for a single shift examination and not accepting their arguments in terms of the number of candidates, double shifts are only possible, and a lot of issues with respect to malpractices, etc. We'll take you through the order now. The crux of the order is this. Basically, when what the Supreme Court mentioned was one single shift. It is going to be a single shift examination as far as NEET PG is concerned. So there is no going back on this. There is going to be a single shift examination. Second, order on June 15th. Nothing has changed as of now. June 15th is the date of the examination on paper now. NB, even though NB has mentioned that they might not be able to conduct the June examination on June 15th because they have to look out for centers, make arrangements, etc. Supreme Court has said very angrily, go ahead, find a way out, because you have not been planning for 1 year. Go ahead and find a way out. If you can't, come back to us, we give you that liberty. If you can't, go try out and come back to us, and then we will take a call on it. As of now, June 15th looks unlikely, because we believe that NBE does not have the possibility to conduct the examination on June 15th. NBE themselves have mentioned in the court that they will not be able to conduct a single shift examination on June 15th. But on paper, legally, it is June 15th as of now. Prepare for June 15th is our suggestion. And in case there is an extension, we'll come to know by the next week when NBE goes back to the Supreme Court and pleads, we can't conduct the examination, give us another date. Then you plan again for a later date. As of now, June 15th is the date for you to work on, which is a better strategy than assuming postponement, correct? So, and knowing that there is likely, it is likely to be postponed. We will go through the order in detail. It was actually a good argument. I think the current bench of judges, they are reasonable to hear an argument. We are not saying that the postponement is right, single shift examination is right or not, but the argument was heard reasonably well, and the judges were able to put forth their thoughts to very strongly, which is something good for things to come. Basically, when we are looking for transparency at a later point in time, we are looking for issues to be sorted at a later point in time during counseling, it looks good that the Supreme Court benches which are taking this up currently, the bench that is taking this currently is aware of the issues. Now, the Supreme Court order is on a single shift. The actual order, we will go through it quickly, then we will give our interpretations also, what to do, what might happen, etc. Heard the part, this is basically as pronounced by the Supreme Court bench, basically the judge who pronounced it. This will be available today evening, possibly in the Supreme Court portal itself. Heard the parties. Basically, two reliefs have been sought by the petitioners, which is Dr. Aditi and others. Holding of NEET PG 2025 in two shifts. This is as put forth by the petitioners, not the order of the not the final order or the operative order. This is as mentioned by the by Dr. Aditi and others. It does not give, in two shifts, does not give a level playing field, and as two question papers cannot be of the same difficulty and ease. Whatever happens, we know that there will be a trust factor. One question paper is difficult, another question paper is difficult. Whatever normalization you do, ultimately, when there is a disadvantage for me, there will always be a trust factor saying, always be a factor saying, if I had attended the other exam, I would have done better. So if possible, why not conduct in a single shift? The last exam was held in two shifts because of a process, because of the delay. They cancelled it because of the NEET UG scam. At the last minute, they cancelled it, and then it was not possible to conduct it within a few months. Then they had to go for two shifts. That is the reason why normalization was applied, and if there is a similar situation, then normalization should have been applied. And two-shift process should have happened. But today, there was ample time, so it should have been conducted in a single shift. The other relief claimed by the petitioners was to publish the answer key. Basically, they also mentioned the raw scores in terms of, in case of normalization, but publish the answer keys and the question papers. Along with Dr. Aditi and others' case, last year's Dr. Ishika Jain's case, and the previous year cases of answer key, publishing the answer keys for NEET PG, was also those cases have also been attached to this case. So we will also have the hearing of those cases later in terms of answer keys and publishing the question papers. Now at present, the Supreme Court, the order said, the judges were saying, at present we are examining only the question of holding examination in 2 shifts as claimed by the petitioners. On 5th May, notices were issued to all the respondents. The responses are Union of India, NBE, and possibly NMC too. And the response has been filed, and primarily 2 grounds were taken in support of 2 shift examinations. This is basically the one filed by Union of India and NBA primarily. The number of candidates who appear in the said examination is too large. Basically 2.4 lakhs are expected to appear in the examination. This is too large, therefore it is not possible for the examination body to conduct the examination in a single shift. TCS ION, which conducts all similar computer based tests, is the one which is conducting the test, and they said that it is not possible to get enough examination centers for conducting in a single shift. They also kept mentioning throughout the process that IIT JEE is conducted in a single shift, in multiple shifts. Similarly, other examinations, CUET, multiple other examinations, the appointment related examinations, and so many railway examinations, etc., are multi-shift examinations. But the Supreme Court also questions that, and they were able to only tell that those are all 10 lakhs plus candidates participating examinations where 10 shifts are considered, whereas this is a 2.4 lakh candidates participating examination where they could have been some effort. Now the second one which was raised by NBE, saying that why we did not conduct it in a single shift, is that if the examinations are conducted in are held in one shift, there is a possibility that we will have to go to private institutes, private centers for conducting the examination. We have avoided doing that, and unscrupulous elements may get into play, and there might be malpractices, etc. So this also did not go well with the Supreme Court bench, and they did not clearly accept this arguments, both these arguments. We find so the Supreme Court had mentioned, we find the total number of candidates who have applied is 2,42,000. This is a number for reference that we have got. The examination is held all over the country and not in one city. This is what the Supreme Court is telling them. We are not ready to accept that in the entire country. Considering the technological advancement in the country, you are not able to get enough centers for running it in a single shift, is what the Supreme Court has strongly mentioned. Next, holding examinations in 2 shifts creates arbitrariness. This is very critical, because actually it creates arbitrariness, more of a trust factor or a factor of belief that something right has happened will never come out in a 2-shift process. This we have already explained in the last year's sessions too, and and the issues were also enormous after the exams are over. Results are one thing. Post results, the entire process of counseling is something that is huge and is also based on marks to a great extent. So in that scenario, there are a lot of issues like what happened in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, etc., which will delay the entire counseling process. So that is because of the arbitrariness and does not take the examination, because different candidates do not take the examination at the same level, and any 2 question papers can never be said to have the same level of difficulty and ease. Normalization comes in later, but the question papers cannot be said to be the same difficulty and ease. There has to be a variation. So when it comes to normalization, yeah, they said normalization is the NB advocate said that normalization is there anyways. Normalization may be applied in exceptional cases when there is no other way out, but not in a routine manner year after year. Last year you had an issue, you applied normalization. You are taking it to every year. That is not right, is what the the Supreme Court has mentioned. And the examination for this year is scheduled on 15th of June. There is still more than 2 weeks for examining body to identify the examinations one shift. This probably the Supreme Court was extremely angry, and that is why they included it, to tell NBE on the face that they have not done anything over the last 1 year or 7-8 months to prepare for an examination in one shift and do it properly, so that there is confidence for the candidates. Now the examination for this year is scheduled for 15th of June. You have 2 weeks more. We accordingly direct the respondents, which is NBE and Union of India, to make further arrangements to hold the examination in one shift, and also to ensure that complete transparency is maintained and secured centers are identified. They said we can't identify all this. Do that within June 15th. That is the clear order. Don't stop here, because we will also tell you the possibility of whether it happens in June 15th. So this is the exact order. So the exact order is what? Conduct in one shift. 2 weeks are there. Find secure centers, ensure transparency, ensure that it is conducted on June 15th. there is enough time, we don't go with your argument. The issue relating to the relief claim, second relief claim, which is the answer key related claim, sharing of question papers and the answer key, that will be considered after the examinations are held. This, it looks very positive now with this current bench, because the current bench wants transparency. Another argument raised on the behalf of the respondents, basically NBE and Union of India were mentioning that even if examining body makes an effort to identify the centers, let us say we identify the centers, it might need more time to get these centers identified. Effort may be put in, but it will take more time to identify the centers and conduct the examination. We will have a lot of processes to do, etc., which may result into delay. So the NBE was almost asking them, pleading them, please give us an order, written order saying that I can extend the timeline. Supreme Court was hell bent on not giving the order to extend the timeline. They said you go work and ensure that the examination is conducted on June 15. They might also know that it is very, very difficult. They want NBE to work and come back and say we were not able to do it, which possibly will let them, which help in preparation for the next year. Basically, they will know that they will not be able to go to the Supreme Court. For the next year if they make a mistake. So that might be the intention behind this, and asking them to come back and not giving a clear extension order. Effort to identify more centers which may result in delay in holding examinations and all counselings and admission process. They are saying that everything will delay the counselling process and admissions. If single shift happens, definitely there will be no counselling related issues as far as the shift and normalization is concerned. We know for a fact that if double shift happens, there is a new normalization process put up this year. Definitely there will be court cases and there will be a delay later. There will be a 3-4 months delay later. Right now, a single shift is going to sort out all those problems. At least that part is different. There is an issue with respect to I am prepared, not prepared, I am well prepared, it is a disadvantage for me, etc. Definitely, some candidates would not want a postponement. Many would want a postponement because it gives time for preparation. But the later issues of counselling will definitely be sorted out because of a single shift. So they were saying that we will not accept that all the consequent counselling and admission processes will be delayed, etc. This argument is also not expected, as there is still sufficient time for the examination body to conduct it by June 15th. June 15th is the examination as of now. There is sufficient time is what the Supreme Court has mentioned. Let the matters be listed on 14th July. This is not the examination date. 14th July is when the matters will be listed for what? For the rest of the issues, the second relief, which is answer keys and question papers. Before that itself, NBE might go back in case they can't do it on June 15th. June 15th, possibly the next week, NBE will go. We'll discuss that. Post this order, NBE says time is not sufficient, etc. Therefore, provide us extra time, put that in the order, etc. Supreme Court clearly mentioned that we are not providing any time. We are open for you to come back and apply for an extension. We give you that liberty, come back and apply for an extension if it is required. When will they do? Next week, they possibly will sit on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, they will discuss, and then Wednesday or some day time. We expect that by that time at least, they should ideally go back to the Supreme Court and say that it is possible, not possible. If they want an extension, they should get an extension, pleading the Supreme Court. And very strongly mentioning that, they also very strongly mentioned that now itself you are saying it is not possible. The NB department person was also there. They were saying now itself you are saying it is not possible. This is due to either money you want to pay off, that was a question raised. Then they said no, it is not a matter of money, it is about identifying centers. They also very strongly mentioned that you are finding an easy way out. You did not plan earlier. Don't do this. Burn a little midnight oil and trying to find out, reprimanding them for wasting a year. So these are all basically good that there will be planning. Hopefully there will be better planning the next year, better thought put in. Planning is a different thing. Thought put in terms of what all will happen if a correct bench of the Supreme Court takes up the case. And Zeinert's interpretation and submission, will the exam happen in a single shift? Yes, for sure, it will happen in a single shift. Will the exam happen on June 15th? As of now, June 15th is the date. So June 15th is the date. It is likely that MBE will come back over the next week and mention that they are identifying they will not be able to identify more centers or plan it for June 15th. And then the exam might be delayed or postponed after the Supreme Court gives an approval. Currently, it is on June 15th. Only if MNB pulls a miracle and says that by 15 days we are able to, what they couldn't plan for 6 months, they said, if they are able to, like, no, not enough centers, now they come back and say within the next 15 days we were able to pull that off. That is a miracle that will happen. If that happens, then exam will be conducted on June 15th, correct? They go back to the court and say that 6 months, 7 months, we are not able to pull out NS centers, 15 days I will do that. Highly unlikely. We should get to know by the next week on the extension of timeline for NEET examination. What is the ideal thing to do now? All this boils down to what should I do now, right? Continue with the preparation, assuming that it is going to be on June 15th. No harm in doing that. Go prepare assuming it is going to be on June 15th, knowing that there might be a delay. Modify preparation based on when the postponement is done. Next week we should get that. So prior to June 15th, let us say we will have another 10 days at least by the time your decision NBE comes back with a response, or at least a week. In case it is postponed, well and good, you have another additional time for preparation. Adjust your plans or strategy accordingly. If you don't have a postponement, very less chances, but if you don't have a postponement, at least you would have prepared for June 15th. You continue with your preparation, don't take a day off just because of this particular case. That is what we would suggest. You continue with your preparation, even if it is going to be a few weeks later. Your today's preparation or the preparation till June 15th is going to be useful. Continue with your preparations. Is there an advantage because of this for the candidates? At a candidate level, if a candidate has not been well prepared, the candidate would consider it as an additional time that they have for preparation. At that level, I haven't completed these. I have very limited time. I have to take up 4 weeks. Now I had only 2 weeks. For those candidates, it is definitely an advantage. It gives additional time for preparation and consolidation. On the other hand, for somebody who has been very well prepared and wanted to attend the exam, one, they would obviously want the examination to be over, and the additional time for others possibly would end up in a disadvantage. So this is purely an internal thing, nothing to do with the decision has been made, and whether it is right or not, whether Supreme Court, whether it is right or not in terms of happens or not in terms of extension, not right or not, but happens or not in terms of extension. This is what it will be. Some will not be happy. Many will possibly get that additional time to consolidate their preparation. From our end, we would know from a counseling process perspective. We are not into coaching or examinations. We are into the counseling process. From a process perspective, this single shift is definitely going to be really good. One, post-exam or result cases would have happened. Like last year, if you had gone through last year, it was terrible. After the examination was over, after a delay, there was time of 1-2 months where cases kept on happening on the normalization process, whether it should have happened, etc. And that delayed the entire process of counseling, and the counseling went on till February and even was extended till March of the next year. That, because of the shift, will not happen this year, which is very good. And for the next few years too, possibly we will have a single shift examination, as NBE would be pushed to have a single shift examination. No confusion. Second, candidates would trust the results, and therefore such discussions, such confusions, I got this because of writing the exam in a different center, etc., will not happen. There will be clarity at least after the examinations are over and during the examinations. That is one. Second, very importantly, this bench, through its order and how strong they were in responding back to the examining body and the authority, basically NBE, it shows that they are looking at transparency, which is a very good thing as far as the answer key is concerned. Answer key was not published, and the question paper, they have said that we will not share the questions at all because we have only this many questions, which was very silly from the part of the examining body to do that last year. But this year, they would publish is what we feel, which results in better transparency, and possibly we are looking at, if at all there are many cases, possibly we are looking at better transparency to come. So that is a good thing that we see as far as the process is concerned, and hoping that some might not be very happy with the delay, with the postponement, some might be angry, but still from a process perspective, we believe that something good has happened, and possibly everybody after the exams will be on the same page on that too. Thanks a lot for watching.